Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to yet again another fantastic indie creator interview. It's your Cape Crusader Cody, and we are keeping it geekly with our returning guest, the Todd Black, and we're here to break down Tokyo Blade Detectives issue 6 and everything in between. Todd, welcome back to the stream. How have you been, my friend?
Oh, it's been going all right, Cody, and might I say it's good to see you again and see you've done so many interviews since our last chat.
Yeah, we were talking backstage. I was like, man, I wonder what number you were, and you ended up, I think, being number 28, and this is number 236, so over 200. I kind of was pretty astounded at that number. I was like, maybe I need to take a breather.
Just a little one, you know. Or you could just, like, do even more. I'm just saying.
What about you? Coming fresh off of a con, crowdfunding issue 6. How have you been since you last been on the show, man?
Well, as you know, I had both a Kickstarter and then I had a major release via SourcePoint Press via 5 Bullets 6 Men, which you liked and enjoyed, if I recall correctly. And lots of memes in our DM chat as you were reading it. I remember I scrolled and was like, you were giving me like South Park memes because I referenced lines were, I guess, from the show, and I didn't intend that. I didn't hear no bell. I didn't hear no bell.
Yeah, I know. I was like, I thought it was definitely a Randy meme. You're like, no, not at all. I was like, oh, this is awkward.
A little bit before that. But that was a good release for me. And then I've been working on a bunch of other projects, including continuing Tokyo. And I've been doing cons at C2E2, Grand Rapids Comic Con, a Superman celebration back in June. That was a great one, and just trying to continue the hustle, man, just like you.
Yeah, absolutely. So, how did that Kickstarter end up going for issue 5? That's I want to say that's when we last chat. So,
yes.
Give us a little recap on how that ended up going for you.
That was actually one of my best Kickstarters ever.
So what happens when you keep it geekly, baby?
Well, if that's the case, then let's hope that then all your backers go to number 6. I could use your support. But no, number 5, I honestly had like one of my best Kickstarters ever. I had the most backers ever with 116, and we raised over $2,400, and that was really incredible. I did not expect that at all. And so going into number 6, I'm hoping to try and get at least backer-wise similar numbers. We'll see how it goes. We're about 2 weeks left right now, so fingers crossed.
So what do you think you did differently for issue 5 compared to the other issues?
I have no idea. I really don't. I mean, aside from keeping it geekly. Yeah.
So maybe like no new cons? Like were you advertising at cons or?
Well, it's weird advertising at cons. I've tried to do it in the past. Like I've even had like business cards that like have the Kickstarter link that they can go to, but it's awkward to promote them there because you're telling a person about the Kickstarter and then you have the book, because I already have volume 1 out, so I'm able to sell that and say, hey, if you like this, the Kickstarter for the next issue is up. But then they have to like remember that and then go to it later. I think I've maybe gotten a few backers from a con over my history, but generally I prefer doing podcasts and social media posts. And I really don't know what I did differently. I put, and it was a year between 4 and 5 Kickstarter going up. So maybe it was timing, maybe it was the right reaction. I really don't know. But I was grateful for it, and right now with number 6, we have hit our funding goal, and now I'm just trying to get to 100 backers, which is my personal goal. So we'll see how well I do.
Hey, well, congratulations on another successful Kickstarter. I mean, that has to feel good, like being able to fund it that quickly.
Yeah, it's always a relief when you hit the funding goal, and then when you get that buffer, because you always have to count on people canceling, because there's always at least 1 or 2 cancels, but it's always a gooder feeling because the work you put in meant something and that it was worth it. So I got funded. I hit my funding goal. I gotta say that correctly. Hit my funding goal on my birthday.
Ooh, happy birthday!
Thank you. I am 33. I am officially very, very old. Oh, my back!
I'm 33 too. What do you mean?
Well, you look so much younger than me, and you have facial hair. So how does that work?
It must be all the I drink like 3 monsters a day, so my kidneys probably look a lot older than yours. But
probably.
Who knows?
Probably. I was at a con and someone offered me a Red Bull, and I'm like, I know this is going to sound strange, but I'm 33 years sober from Red Bull, and I'm not going to start that now. Anyway, I I got hit the funding goal on my birthday, and ever since then, it's just been trying to reach that goal, the personal goal of 100 backers. And it is a relief to know that we are, we're going to finish the comic, and we're still working on the pages right now to try and get it out as soon as possible. So we're just, going to keep grinding, keep, doing what we're doing, and we'll be done by the end of the month, one way or the other.
Yeah, absolutely. So for anyone who might be new that's listening, give us a little bit of a recap on some of your previous works that you've done.
All right. Well, aside from Tokyo, I've made a superhero series called Guardians. I've made a sci-fi fantasy miniseries called Home, a Disney Pixar style story called 10,000 Miles. All of which, those three are on Global Comics. I have now put my books up there. You can read the first 5 to 10 pages for free, depending on the book. And Volume 1 of Tokyo Blade Detectives is there as well, so definitely check that out. I've also worked on a science education series called Seekers of Science, and we have a special site for that one. It's really, really cool. I worked with some actual scientists to develop the story. It was really fun.
That's so cool.
Oh yeah, it's one I'm very passionate about because it's not my story, it's their story. I pitched it to them, and then they were like, yeah, let's totally do this. And the reaction I get at cons for it is very special because for some reason, I always get like teachers and librarians and educators at my table, and I'm like, oh, then you'll love this science-based comic called Seekers of Science, and like, okay. So it's a lot of fun, but and then I've done some small anthologies. I worked with the wrestler Thunder Rosa from AEW, and we made a book about her life, and just all these projects every which way but up, everything everywhere all at once and all that. So, and I got more in the works right now, including a very special heist comic that I'm hoping to debut next year. Oh yeah. So always making something, man. Always making something.
And I love how you're like bouncing from like so many different genres too. It's not like all of them just based in one like particular side of comics. It seems like it's sprinkled throughout like a little bit of everything.
For me, when I started, I only did superheroes. That's what I knew. That's what I grew up on. I mean, I'm wearing a Shazam shirt right now. Totally intentional, wink. But I loved it. And that still remains my longest series ever. I've done 20 issues of that story. But over time, it became clear that while a lot of people love superheroes, as Marvel movies like to show off, they're not the only people out there who like comics. And I wanted to do more. So there was a submission process for Oni Press, and they said no superheroes at all. And I'm like, okay. So I created Home for them, and I also pitched 10,000 Miles, and neither got accepted, so I just did it myself. It was like, Thanos, I'll just do it myself, And then after that, I was just like, I like writing all these different genres, and then Seekers of Science came along, and my Sherlock Holmes mystery novels came along. Tokyo happened, and now I got my heist comic, Thunder Rosa. I like having the variety, and as you said, I just came off of a con, and Guardians sold very well, but so did all of my other books. Tokyo and Thunder Rosa and 5 Bullets 6 Men sold really well. So it was good knowing that no matter who came to my table, I probably had something for them. It's a beautiful feeling, for lack of a better word, because that I can say, oh, I could appeal to that person, I could appeal to that person, I could appeal to that person. And I'm going to keep doing that because I love all these genres. I love superheroes, but I like fantasy. I like sci-fi. I like the adventure and mysteries and anime and all that. And I want to show my passion for all of them through all these books.
No, I love that. So I got to ask you, though, what was your thoughts on Black Adam? Being a fan of Shazam,
Oh, if we're going to do that, I got to put on my official glasses, okay?
Well, actually...
Well, it's very clear to me, Cody, that some people don't appreciate The Rock as much as they should have. I saw the reviews, and I did not agree with them at all. I thought Black Adam was an astounding film, very focused story, but with great world building overall. The Rock was particularly good, despite not having a quote charismatic role. Okay, I'm going to stop the act.
I love Dr. Fate though. Can we be for real? Oh my god!
No, for real. I love the movie. I did. Dr. Fate, Hawkman, Black Adam were all great. I love the visuals for Cyclone and her very dancing.
It was
acrobatic.
gorgeous, yeah.
It was gorgeous, and I saw people say like, "Oh, they put the most charismatic man in the most dull character." I'm like, "What are you talking about? That is how Black Adam acts. You're telling him to not act like the character? Did you see what happened in Thor: Love and Thunder? Like, hello." But no, I love the movie. I thought it was great. The Superman teaser at the end. Oh, good. Thank goodness. Thank you, Rock. But no, I love the movie. I thought it was great.
Dude, I heard they're actually rebooting Superman too. So I heard Superman's coming back, and they're going to reboot him.
Back. They haven't said whether it's a reboot, a continuation, or something else, but we know it's Henry Cavill, so I don't think it's a full reboot.
Well, I heard they're trying to do away with the kill scene.
If they do, that's just stupid. I'm sorry.
Because there's like tons of people who are like still to this day like not about it.
Look, can I be blunt? Get over it, okay? Like, first of all, for all you comic fans out there, yeah, I'm looking at you. Superman is killed multiple times in the comics. Superman has wanted to kill multiple times in other properties, including, wait for it, the Richard Donner movies. All right? He killed Zod. All right? He totally did. So I don't know why. And that one was much less repentant. All right? He broke his hand and just let him fall into the pit in the Fortress of Solitude. Superman and Man of Steel begged Zod to stop, and he goes, never. And then he had no choice but to kill him. And what happens? He felt bad. Christopher Reeve's Superman didn't feel bad for killing Zod, and no one points that out. It's like, and don't get me started on Batman and the no kill rule. Like, I'm sorry, did anyone watch the first two Tim Burton movies? Like, he killed so many people, all right, including Joker. All right, threw him off the clock tower. Didn't even try and save him. Dark Knight saved him. Not Tim Burton. So, if not obvious, I am a Snyder fan. No, I'm not a Snyder cultist. Stop saying that about everyone. Some of them are. I won't lie. But there are just as many who have rational conversations.
He's like, I'm just a general. He's like, I'm just, an underling in the army.
Yeah. No, like, I supported the Snyder Cut. I thought the Snyder Cut was great. I voted for the Oscars for Snyder to get the 2 awards, which he got. And I will defend the movies because I liked them. I liked them over certain other movies. I also think other movies are better than them. That's just how it works. I am one man. I have one opinion. I do not force my opinion down people's throats, despite what I just said about getting over it. But they really should get over it. I mean, it's been how long? It's been over a decade. Like, we've had this debate to death. It happened. If you don't like it, that's fine. But stop saying that, the thing that gets me, we will get back to my Kickstarter because that is the reason I'm here. The reason I don't like the discourse with the Snyderverse is that the biggest insult that I've heard is that Zack Snyder doesn't understand these characters. That is a complete lie. All right. If you watch the Ultimate Edition of Batman v Superman, which I have not, but I've seen clips of it, there are scenes in there that perfectly punctuate who Superman is, but they were cut out, not by Snyder, but by WB. Same with, and we all know what happened with Justice League and that abomination with Joss Whedon. That wasn't Zack Snyder not knowing the characters. That was them completely remaking the movie. We saw what happened in the Snyder Cut, and it was a completely different film. He understands the characters, but not unlike so many other comic writers, he showed it in a different way, in a more modern time, and it got a divisive reaction, and that's fine. But I hate how he gets the discourse, he gets the hate, and yet when Taika Waititi completely 180'd Thor from a serious character to a joking character, especially in Thor: Love and Thunder, everyone loves it. Okay, not everyone.
Well, I will say as a counterpoint that I've seen just as many people hate the Thor, absolutely just hate Thor at this point.
But especially Thor: Love and Thunder, that one got a little bit more divisive reaction. But when Ragnarok came out, everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, it's like the best Thor movie ever!" And it's like, I liked it, but I thought the first 2 movies are better, which I know makes you controversial. Once again, what are you gonna do? But and that's why I always say, watch the movies for yourself. Like Black Adam's a great example. The critics hated it, the fans loved it. To who are you supposed to believe? Believe yourself. Right? You see the movie, you make your opinion known. And then if you want to have a nice conversation about it, like we're having now, that's fine. Just don't shove your opinion down people's throats. Don't tell people your opinion is wrong because you liked Black Adam, you didn't like Black Adam, and if you don't agree with me, you're wrong. That's what causes these problems in the first place. That's the nerd rage debate, as I like to call it, because you have to have one opinion on things. No, that's never the way. That is not the way. All right. There are people who don't like Mandalorian as much as everybody else. Does that make them wrong? No. There are people who love Solo, a Star Wars story. I have one of my bosses will stand that story to the end of time.
Really?
I thought it was the worst one of the worst Star Wars movies. But am I wrong and he right? And he right and I'm wrong? No, it's not how it works. You go, you form your opinion, and if you enjoyed it, great. If you didn't, that's okay. So, and it's the same with comics. You read a comic. Like I've read so many comics that were like Ringo Award winning, Harvey Award winning, and I'm like, yeah, I liked it, but I didn't think it was that good. But that's just my opinion. I clearly it didn't resonate with me as it did with them. That's just how it works. So, meh.
So speaking of things resonating, though, let's go ahead and pump the brakes on the tangent. We'll rope it back in. And let's get back to Tokyo. Give us a little bit about this series. What is the main concept of it? What are we looking at with this story?
Okay. So Tokyo Blade Detectives is set in the Snyderverse. I mean, sorry. It's set in... I couldn't resist.
We live in a society.
We live in a society where guns are but a distant memory. Isn't that right, Batman? No. All right.
You're good at that.
I've had lots of practice. I can do all three Jokers. Well, technically four if you throw in Mark Hamill. But so Tokyo Blade Detectives is set in Japan 200 years in the future. The country's been burned to the ground by war, rebuilt with technology, and to try to stop the madness, they have made a law that no one can break. No guns allowed. But this creates a power vacuum, so they make laser swords to fill it, and that gives rise to 5 factions who are trying to overthrow the government. Tokyo is in a perpetual state of chaos, and in the first arc, a 16-year-old detective named Miko gets a case that changes everything. And except Volume 1 is out right now, including on Amazon and on Global Comics. And then with the second arc, we are doing one called The Contract, where Miko and her business partner Michio are hired to defend a client from a group of assassins known as the Nine Tails, who are the deadliest assassins in all of Japan. And the first issue of The Contract was the setup, and this one I like to call it the raid because it's basically a full-on action issue from start to finish.
Okay.
And I really like that. I've done a lot of action in my comics, but this felt like the most intense because it's basically sword fights up and down a building. It's really, really fun. So yeah, if you're a fan of any kind of anime, this is one where it's grounded, but it's also expansive. It's very sci-fi or cyberpunk. I didn't realize that my mind was kind of cyberpunk until I actually thought about it, because it's all about technology and not magic. All right. Sometimes it'll look like magic, and you won't understand how the technology works, but it's all technology, and I really like that fun and freedom and uniqueness, if you will. So, if you like anime, you're gonna like this book. I guarantee it.
So with issue 5, give us just a little bit of a recap, kind of leading us into 6, and then what we'll do is after that we'll pull up the Kickstarter because we have some of the interiors there, so that'll give us an idea of what to expect in 6.
Yeah, so like I said, in issue number 5, we Miko and Michio meet a business owner named Satoshi, and he finds out through some means that he's being targeted by the Nine Tails, who again are the deadliest assassins in Japan. So they are just about to start their investigation into who's trying to kill him because there is a loophole to get the Nine Tails to stop. And right when they do, the ninth tail, the lowest ranked member of the group, shows up to kill Satoshi. And so from there, it's basically a fight for survival and escape. And it doesn't go well for Miko and Michio at the end, but I won't spoil how. And that leads into the raid of this issue.
Okay. So I think right now, let's go ahead and prepare ourselves to raid over to Kickstarter and check this campaign out.
Excellent segue.
So we are looking at Tokyo Blade Detectives issue 6, currently at $994 of a $750 goal, 58 backers and 13 days left to go. Once again, congratulations on funding. That's awesome. Let's go ahead. If you want to, we can check out this video. You won't be able to hear the sound on your end, but we'll be able to hear it crystal clear on ours.
Okay.
I was gonna say I didn't notice that was an Eevee in the background either. I was like, is that a big like sorting hat from, or like what is that? And then yeah, it's Eevee. That's awesome.
That is my glorious Eevee that I got at a con, and I take him with me. So He's glorious. He's incredibly soft.
So right here is the cover for issue 6. What are we seeing right here? What's happening?
So this is Miko and Michio versus the Ninth Tail, a sign of everything that is to come in this issue.
And then I noticed, their swords are laser. Like, do the different colors have different meanings? Like, like with Star Wars, for example, like the different like colors for the lightsabers have different meanings. For the type of Jedi they are, type of the Sith or what have you. So is that the same like concept here?
I just felt it was more a personal touch, like especially with the technology that they have. Like
Mhm.
Star Wars, it's all about the kyber crystals. Like,
Yeah.
and you can change them to get the lightsaber colors. And with this one, it's more just about what ones fit their color scheme. So like Miko has a green sword, Michio has a orange yellow sword. We met the Empress earlier, and she had a red sword or like a magenta sword, and so on and so forth. It's all just about helping them stand out and making it feel like they match their own color schemes.
So right here are some of the interiors as well. Very gorgeous. Loving these colors too. So who's all involved in the creative process with this?
All right, so I'm the writer-creator, and then my interiors artist is Lam Vuvan from Vietnam, and he's very, very good at this. He does the inks, the pencils, the colors, and then Alex Garcia is the cover artist for the book, and then my editor is Matt Shore, who also did the editing for the video, so you can have him to thank for the anime effects. But yeah, he delivers some cool visuals, like that shot right there of the Ninth Tail coming through the wall. That's one of my favorites he's done of this issue so far. I gave him the reference of Raven from Teen Titans in the intro, where she's like facing through the wall. It was a great reference. I'm like, mimic that, and he goes, okay. So,
For everyone watching, sorry. Go ahead. I was gonna say, everyone watching right here is the link. Be sure to check it out with us if you're unable to back. As stated in the video, simply sharing this on Facebook, Twitter, anywhere you can. Word of mouth is 100% free. Getting as many eyes on this as possible is what we're trying to do. It's the day after New Comic Book Day, so make sure to treat yourself. Go ahead, Todd. Sorry that I interrupted.
No, you're fine. Don't worry about it. But I do, like you said, any kind of pledge is helpful. I even have a $1 reward tier where you will get, well, let's just say more than it describes. I leave that as a surprise in case people do just randomly pledge $1. But we have rewards of all types here. We have $3 rewards where you get the comic digitally. We have, if you're new to the series, don't feel left out. We have multiple rewards to help you catch up. We have the $10 reward where you get all 6 issues digitally. We have a $30 reward tier where you can get all 6 issues physically, including the first volume in trade paperback form or single issues should you desire. And we have a $15 reward where you'll get basically every comic I've ever made in digital format, or the $150 tier where you can get them all in physical format. It's all up to you. You can get drawn into the comic. I can help you make comics. I got 2 different reward tiers for that. And as Cody's doing now, he's just scrolling through. There's a lot of options. I wanted to make sure that it was as accessible as possible to everyone. So please check it out. Whether you pledge $1, $3, $5, it helps. If someone wants to pledge $6 right now to get us to $1,000, that would be great. I hate being like so close to milestones and it's just like staring at me. Like,
and then it's like when you hit it, someone like unbacks or something. It's like, no.
Oh, I've had that happen. I've had that happen. So, but
here's some of the different tiers as well. So I mean, that's not bad at all. $30, you get Tokyo's whole fight, issue 1 through 6. Like that's fantastic price.
Yeah. And I do have to charge for international shipping, but I do try and keep it tame. It's like $5. But and some of the higher tiers don't have that because of the amount you're pledging. But yeah, like that's one of my favorites, the cameo in Tokyo's fight.
$50 is like great, dude. Holy crap.
Feel free to pledge that, Cody. But we only have 2 slots left. We have we have to put a limit on that because of the amount of space we have. And but yeah, I was surprised by 8 people. Like that filled up really quickly. I was actually really surprised by that. So.
And then Tokyo's Ultimate Fight for $150. So that's all the various forms of comics, or what's this here?
You'll get the physical copies of Guardians, Home, 10,000 Miles, all 6 issues of Tokyo Blade Detectives, and then I threw in Thunder Rosa last time as a special treat. So you're basically getting, if I'm being technical here, basically 40 issues of 40 issues of comics for $150, and then they're mailed right to you.
Yeah,
So
that is fantastic. Fantastic price. So that is the Kickstarter. Once again, guys, here is the link. Be sure to check this out. Back it. If you're unable to back it, simply just sharing it on Facebook and Twitter is 100% free.
yes.
And I mean, word of mouth is essential. So let's go ahead and get back to our main screen. Todd, after going through that Kickstarter, what would you like to say to anyone who might be on the fence about backing? Like if you had the opportunity to kind of help push them over that edge.
Well, if you don't believe in me, believe in the hair. All right.
It's fantastic.
Thank you. It was better in the video. It hasn't had time to proof today. It's such a hard thing to balance. No. If you're on the fence, I totally understand. If nothing else, if you're like, say, if you're new to the series, try out the $10 reward. Get all 6 issues and see if you enjoy it. Or you can look up the past issues of Tokyo and see like the preview page. They all look. Lom's been my artist the whole time. He's been very consistent, so you'll get great art quality, I promise you. Or if you're just looking for a lot of comics, we have like the $15 reward tier. If you want physical comics, we have that. I've been wanting to do. I had been wanting to do this story for 2 years before we ever made issue 1. It was in my brain festering for so long, and this book is a tribute to my love of anime. I grew up on anime. I love anime even more now thanks to things like Hulu, which has like all the series, and I wanted to showcase that in this comic. So if you love anime, if you love comics, if you like, intense action scenes but fun characters and protagonists who are kind of brats and not exactly heroic, that's exactly what Miko is, and it's a lot of fun. It's been great. I'm just honored to have gotten 6 issues of this book made. So we're still making number 6 right now, and I will continue this book for as long as people keep believing in it as I do, and I hope you will give me a chance and try it out. So
no, absolutely. That is awesome, and I just love these interiors are gorgeous. Last time we had you on, those interiors were gorgeous as well. And I'm happy to see you on Global Comics too. Expanding your reach, expanding the different pots that you can kind of put your product in. That is awesome. So what's next for you? Are you working on issue 7 after this, or any other series?
I'm going to do a similar path to what I did with the last arc, which is I'm going to make 4 issues and then we're going to take a break. So we'll do number 7 and number 8 next year at some time, and then we'll take a break for maybe a year so I can focus on other projects, and we'll go from there. So, and then as I mentioned earlier, I have a heist comic I'm working on. I'm hoping next week to write a new script for a new mystery comic miniseries that I want to do. There's always ideas in my brain. I just gotta have the time and the money to flesh them all out,
No, absolutely. So with that being said, we are right at the end of our podcast. You've been on before, you know the drill. We always love asking for a little bit of advice for anyone who might be new watching, or maybe even just getting interested in starting comic creation. So with that being said, for anyone watching having trouble getting past a story concept that'll let them like move past one issue, what would be your advice to help them kind of squeeze a little bit more out of that? Instead of having a 1-issue story, maybe squeeze that into 4 or 5 issues.
Well, as in all things, it's about context. There are some issues or stories that only want to be 1 issue or a one shot. 5 Bullets 6 Men is a great example of that. It was a 1 shot. I don't need to expand it if I don't have to. 10,000 Miles was also that way. So if you want to do just a 1-issue story or a small graphic novel, by all means do that. There are no wrong ways, but there are no illogical way. Well, I mean, there's always a wrong way to do a comic. Let's just be honest. I mean, that's just fair. But it's not wrong to want to make it 1 issue. If you feel that you need to expand it, then see where you think you could push the story. Talk to yourself about where the characters are, what you think you can do with them. Tokyo is an ongoing because I see the potential in this world with characters and where I can push the stories. I have issues I already know I'm going to do for like issue 25 that's going to like completely change the series. That's just how I know. That's just how my brain works. And then other times I'm like, where should this thing go? Where this thing go? The most important thing for me is that you got to believe in the story. You got to believe in what you're writing, because if you don't, then no one else will. And that's why I feel that I've had this success on Kickstarter, whether it's been a lot of backers or only a couple dozen, people know that I believe in my stories and that I will work hard to flesh them out and make them as great as they can be. So if you're stuck, just take a beat, take a breath, and think about how you can make the story better, to grow it, to expand it. Or if you feel it only needs to be a one shot, then put everything into that one shot and make comics. There are so many avenues. When I started out, I didn't have a lot of avenues to printing my books. I only had Comixology, which even back then was only starting their submit program. Now you got, Comixology, you got Amazon, you got Global Comics, you have Drive-Thru and Gumroad. There's all sorts of places you could put your books. So access is not the issue. Just believe in yourself, believe in the story that you're creating or the art that you're doing, and you will make comics one way or another.
I love that. And I think that is some really sound advice. Really, taking what you have and putting the most into it and having that passion for it, because your passion will help carry you through some of those low points in that creation process as well.
Yeah, I may look like I have all the answers because I've made so many books. Trust me, that was years of trial, error, almost going broke twice, and I had to work a lot to get here. It's been like 8 years since I've been making comics, almost 9 now, and I had to learn on the fly with only a few people helping me. And that's another reason I did the Kickstarter rewards for like portfolio reviews and such, because I want to be that guy to help someone and say, like, here's what you should do next, here's what you can do next, here are the options available to you, because it can feel lonely when like everyone's making comics and you're like, I want to make them. Well, you can make them. You just gotta do it one step at a time, believe in what you're doing, and you'll make the comics.
No, absolutely. Everyone watching, right here is the link to back this awesome Kickstarter. Once again, be sure to check it out. If you're unable to back, retweet it, put it on Facebook, anywhere you can. Word of mouth is 100% free. Todd, thank you so much for swinging by, hanging out in the Keeping It Geekly cave, and catching up. It's been nice, man. And I'd love to get you back on for issue 7. I
would be honored, and I appreciate all you do, Cody, for not just me, but for all the comics community. There's a reason you have 238 interviews now. You care and you reach out, and we appreciate it.
It's that saying, a rising tide lifts all boats, right? And if I can make that tide even just an inch higher, I'm here for it. That's what I love to do.
There you go.
So everyone watching, be sure to back this campaign. And most importantly, guys, keep it geekly.